No mother could write that. No one. No, I don't think it's a mother. I really don't even think it's a woman. And if it is a woman, well, she doesn't like kids or doesn't have them, definitely. But there's no way. After having kids, you couldn't.
On Friday, an unidentified Oshawa resident did perhaps the rudest possible thing one can do. Brenda Milson received an anonymous letter in her mailbox from one pissed off mother, it read. The writer had a problem with Milson's grandson, Maxwell Begley, who you saw there jumping on the trampoline. Maxwell has autism. Charles Adler joins us now, host of The Charles Adler Show, every day 8 p.m. Eastern. Charles, before I get your reaction on this, I want to read you some lines from this letter. It's a long letter, and every line is a bit of a zinger. Here's some of the selections. You have a kid that is mentally handicapped, and you consciously decided that it would be a good idea to live in close proximity neighborhood like this. Personally, they should take whatever non-retarded body parts he possesses and donate it to science. Do everyone in our community a huge favor and move. Many exclamation marks. Do the right thing and move, or euthanize him. Either way, we are all better off. Signed, one pissed off mother. Okay, where do we begin with this?
Well, it's time to go on a witch hunt. Let's find the witch, and I mean it. Let's just find her. It's not difficult for neighbors to figure out who it is. Nobody who writes that kind of garbage in a letter is soft and nuanced and demure and all those other wonderful little subtleties. Nobody. People like that shoot their mouths off. They shoot their mouths off to neighbors. Somebody knows who she or he is. And once we find out who she or he is, let them tell the mother what he or she wrote in the letter. Let them go eyeball to eyeball with them, with the cameras on. I'd love to see it, Anthony. I'd pay to see that.
And Charles, it's one of those things that you see the headline, rude letter sent. I go, okay, what's this? I read it. I read the opening letter, the opening line or two. I think, this is silly. This is rude. Shouldn't. And then you get down and you just go, who, and it's a written letter, Charles, because this thing is, this day and age, people send tweets. They don't think. They send text messages. They don't think. It's one of the perils of the new media. Fine. You don't think. You send it off. This is a written letter here. Like the person thought about it. They wrote it. They saw what they were writing. It's typed out and printed. So you can clearly write it, mull it over. You had to walk it to the person's door. So you thought about it. You kept thinking about it and you confirmed it. Like they clearly meant this. And I don't understand how one can go this extreme. Maybe there's a little fact or two we don't understand. Maybe these neighbors have had a fight or something. I don't know. I don't see how this can possibly be justified. You don't see stuff like this.
They're cuckoo. As kids would say, as we said when we were kids, they're cuckoo cocoa nuts, they're cuckoo bananas, they're kooks. I mean, the person who wrote this is a kook, and I don't even know if the person is actually being disturbed by whatever little noises this kid is making when he's jumping up and down, as kids do on trampolines. He just may hate fringe groups. He may hate marginal groups, marginalized people.
He may hate humanity. People, that's what I'm getting at here.
There are people who do videos of curb stomping homeless people, of curb stomping people who have mental difficulties, various disorders. I mean, I can't understand everything that goes on in the human brain when there's a screw loose, and why some people get really, really aggressive toward people who are doing absolutely nothing to hurt them, but for some reason the worst is brought out of them. But I would be very surprised, Anthony, if the neighbors got together, had a frank conversation, and couldn't come up with the person who did this. And I want, obviously, the person who did this to be outed, and I want them to be confronted.
Yeah, I have a statement from Durham Regional Police spokesman. This is Jody McLean saying, "We are certainly taking it seriously. We are consulting with the Crown to see if there is any criminality that went on with the letter." I mean, Charles, I don't think this is a criminal matter. I think this is someone being a jerk of the highest order. Totally highest order. We don't see jerkiness like this, a-holeness, whatever. There's words we can't say on television right now to describe this. I think we need a little, and I'm not talking about some Batman business here, but I think we need a little citizen justice, and that I think we'd like to, like you said, the community should get together, figure out who this person is, and have a little chat, because they seem to be the person who should be lucky to be living in the community without being treated crazily like they've treated this kid Maxwell. I think there really needs to be a bit of community justice going on.
I agree. I absolutely agree. Citizen justice, community justice. But you know what, Anthony? When you and I talk that way, you get people to the left of us saying, oh, we know what they really want. They want a lynching. That's what they really want, these right-wingers. And you know, they then try to impose upon us the need to speak in politically correct terms, which is what? The proper and appropriate authority should investigate this. And when they come to their appropriate and proper conclusion, we should honor that conclusion. And that's what the rule of law is all about.
And Charles, when I look at this, I think it's gotten to the coarsening of society. The coarsening of our everyday way of speaking to each other, that this is somehow acceptable, that you would say this to a neighbor. I don't know, maybe there's some problem, some noise complaint going on here. I don't know. Why is there not a conversation happening? Probably because this person's clearly just a complete nut job who wrote this letter. But why is it that this day and age, when we're so able to just sit down and chat with our neighbor, why would anybody even think of writing a letter like this to their neighbor? This is what's boggling my mind. I can't get over it.
It's difficult for me to believe that the person is rational. It's difficult for me to believe that the person himself or herself isn't suffering from some sort of debilitating illness. It may be physical, it may be mental, but clearly the person is hyper aggressive because he's hating on this autistic kid. But let me ask you this, Anthony. If he was using racial language, if he was hating on someone because of their religion or because of their ethnicity, wouldn't this be called hate speech?
It would be called hate speech, and I think we're far too eager again to bring the law in on those cases. I think we need to bring in a little thing called community standards, a little thing called human decency, and that's the thing lacking here. I think this goes back, Charles, and you and I talk about education stories a lot on your radio show, on your television show. I think it goes back to the fact that we don't expect enough of human beings anymore. People think they're entitled to get what they want, when they want, in all their terms. So they're saying they don't like the sounds that an autistic neighbor is making, so they think they have the right to send a letter suggesting he be euthanized. I mean, that's what I see going on here. Just this lack of understanding about your expectations as a citizen.
We don't expect enough of ourselves anymore. Here it is, the mom does the modern thing. She puts this on Facebook, and a whole bunch of people, most of them strangers, come around and they basically give her family a bubble bath. And that feels nice. It's positive reinforcement. People are turning out, and that's a positive. And I'm not knocking what she's doing, but I'm just saying, and I guess I'm hearkening back to a different age, where instead of having Facebook, because there was no Facebook, the same person might have just simply called a meeting of the neighbors, a meeting of the minds, and ferreted out who the son of a you-know-what is, and dealt with it.
All right, Charles, it's been a no-brainer topic, but I thank you for your reaction, because I'm still trying to wrap my brain around this. Folks, send me your thoughts on this via email, anthony.fury@sunmedia.ca. Don't forget to tune into the Charles Adler Show every night. Stick around.